I'm Dave Asprey. I'm the Bulletproof Executive. My blog is about what you can do to upgrade yourself on pretty much every level. My background, I was an entrepreneur in Silicon Valley, and I was one of the early guys to work on what we call cloud computing today. I used to weigh 300 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds. I've kept it off for more than a decade. And the techniques I use are more about upgrading intelligence, reducing inflammation in the body, and effortlessly maintaining a healthy physique. I'm not as ripped as you, but I spend 15 minutes a week, if I'm lucky, exercising. I sleep about 5 hours a night, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, and I have this incredibly demanding lifestyle. So it's amazing what you can do when you upgrade both your nervous system, your actual brain functioning itself, and then the way your body works, and you choose very efficient ways of upgrading yourself, ways of treating your body. When you get all that stuff right, you can do things that you never really thought were possible. And I'm fortunate to have lost all this weight and to have learned all these things. Along the way, I spent $300,000 doing it. I managed to do this because I was very lucky. When I was 26, I made $6 million. The company went bankrupt 2 years later. But that doesn't mean I didn't get to spend some money on upgrading myself. And since then, I've been a working man like everyone else. And had a good career, but along the way, instead of spending money on even faster cars or whatever the latest cool thing is, I spend it on myself. So I'm my own Ferrari, basically.
I'm inspired that you, being in the inspirational health figure seat that you are, that you're not scared to still not only experiment with pharmaceuticals, but also report what happened to you, non-dogmatically. Because I think a lot of people that are in the food movement or the fitness movement, no drugs, no drugs, no drugs. But you, on the other hand, are showing your what looks like to be a prescription for testosterone.
Yeah, I was showing you my testosterone. That sounds, what? You're on testosterone and Provigil? Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, I'm not a pro athlete, and if I was, I think I should be allowed to use them because they're both reasonably safe. I should just have to tell everyone else what I'm doing. Why am I on testosterone? It's because I want to get huge, man. No, I'm on testosterone because I was obese for half my life. I weighed 300 pounds, and it gave me too much too much estrogen. My testosterone was turning into estrogen, and I had very low testosterone, and despite all my biohacks, I was able to raise my testosterone to a certain amount, but it's not where I want it to be. So I'm looking at the normal levels for people my age, and I'm in the top third. I'm not over the warning limit. I'm not particularly high. I'm just where my testosterone should be for a guy my age.
Oh yeah, while we're on the subject, we can continue with, and I think we both have this in common, that you, along with all your other experiments, you experimented with a raw vegan diet for a while.
Oh yeah.
So did we. We did it for about 2 years on and off in 7 months. My brothers and I did 7 months straight. And after about 4 or 5, 6 months, we stopped getting morning wood, and sure enough, our testosterone was depleted. Like at the peak of our life, when we were supposed to have the highest testosterone, or peak performance, we were getting fatter and skinnier at the same time.
Yeah,
we were basically,
it's kind of scary. Fertility is actually one of the best markers of your health status for men and women. And for guys, it's really easy. Like morning wood, yeah, that goes away on a consistent basis. You need to fix it, right? And the other thing is the motility of your swimmers. That takes they have little kits to tell you, what the quality of your semen is. And that's another huge indicator, because that's something kind of interesting, because if your mitochondria is not working, the little power plants that fuel your swimmers, they're not going to be able to swim where they need to swim. Or if they're all deformed or the motility is down, it's a problem. For women, we look at your monthly cycle. Do you have PMS? Do you have a lot of bloating and discomfort? Do your hormones fluctuate the way they should on a monthly basis between estrogen and progesterone and things like that? But flat out, if you're on any kind of diet and it takes away your sex drive, that should tell you something. It should tell you something like run, because your sex drive is actually a sign of whether you are a fully functioning human being.
Yeah, we would get all kinds of responses. I'm with you on that, but some people would say you just need more time to detox, and you hear it all.
Oh,
the more people
7 months of detox wasn't enough.
No, I've heard 7 years.
If it's not working, keep doing it, and it'll start working. Yeah. You know why graham crackers and Kellogg's Raisin Bran were invented? By any chance, you can just nod if it's noisy. No. Well, Mr. Graham and Mr. Kellogg were convinced that libido was the source of all of society's ills. They created those foods to reduce sexual desire in people, and they popularized them. So yeah, let's give kids graham crackers, right? Like, what else are those s'mores doing? At least there's some chocolate fat in there. You know, cacao butter is pretty good for you, but a bunch of sugar and a low-fat little cinnamon wafer thing and a bowl of basically nothing that you want to put in your body. Yeah, they knew what that did back then, but hey, it was good for people because reduce fertility, reduce this, desire, just, be a good little soldier or whatever. I'm not eating that stuff, and you can tell what it does to you. The combination of no morning wood and flatulence. Yeah, go standard American diet. Like, it's just not good.
For me, it was like a good cleanse. I think it got us in touch with what, like, when we reintroduced bison or reintroduced like some deer meat, like venison. All of a sudden, I was like, whoa! Like, I felt like I was on steroids. And yeah, I think it got us in touch, like kind of regained our intuitive palate. But sometimes I get worried that when young people are doing it when they're going through puberty and they do it for a long period of time, I've noticed personally that I think it might be feminizing men or it might be decreasing their chance of attracting a woman. Basically, they're going through puberty with a lack of sex hormones, and that's the one part I get a little touchy about it.
They totally are, and it gets to be a bit of a problem, to be perfectly honest, because we just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen long term. But I can tell you, your brain's not done forming till you're 23. Your prefrontal cortex finally gets all the way wired in around 22, 23. So if during that time you're starving your brain of the fat it needs, your body's like, let's see, I could put the fat into the brain, or I could put the fat into hormones. So then you get this kind of like new, like some of the male models, like kind of thin and white and like just like bleh. And I'm like, for God's sake, like, be a man, right? Like stand up. It's okay for men to have muscles and, men to like have a tan, and, you don't have to wear the super, super skinny jeans. If that's your body type, cool. But to make that like the preferred body type because you ate only 100-calorie meal bars and like, I'm sorry, our biochemistry doesn't work like that. Like, you will not like your life if that is the look that you are after. Because to achieve that look, you're going to have to break yourself the same way that female fitness models oftentimes break themselves by going too far in the lean direction. If you have like uber, super lean, the female form, especially when you're young, you're telling your body that, oh my God, it's a super stressful environment and there's not enough calories and there's not enough fat. So you get there, but then you break your hormonal cycle.
Some women get so thin and so skinny, and they're actually advocating that this is the way you should be, and that if you can get rid of your period by eating a raw vegan diet, that's something I've even heard promoted, that you would lose your period altogether.
No, I don't want to be inflammatory here. I consider vegans and like Bulletproof diet and paleo people to be almost the same, and that they all care enormously about food quality. There's just some core assumptions and some core understanding about the effect of where your food comes from on the environment. But there is a certain kind of self-hatred that has to come from denying your body's basic functions and then celebrating that. So I just can't buy off on that. I know it's annoying to have periods, and the women who say that, I'm guessing, have painful periods and a lot of PMS. And I have some friends and family members who've struggled greatly with this. My mother has had a hysterectomy, and it's just always an issue. But if there's a problem with your period, the solution is not to get rid of it. The solution is to fix the underlying hormonal problem so that it's something that isn't harming your life and something that just happens naturally. Like, my 3-year-old once said, I'm never going to poop again. I don't want to go poop. Okay? It's a bodily function. Bodily functions are okay.
Yeah, that's a good analogy there. We're all about the idea of testing the extremes and residing in the middle and reporting what we experienced on those extremes. So we appreciate you for doing that as well and being so vigilant about it. I was curious though, real quick, what happened through your raw vegan experience, or what was that like, or how long was that for, and what kind of raw vegan were you?
I did, let's see. First thing you do is you put it on, and you look like a totally cool, like Wonder Woman, except even cooler. And then when I did the 8-day thing, that I actually had a lot more sex than when I didn't do the 8-day thing. Because let me tell you, if you don't get to ejaculate in your guy, you're like, you know what? I'll have none of this PMS stuff that largely comes from the standard American diet. Your cycle will become regular, and later in life, you will be far healthier as a result of having done that. So